itself, all of its myriad facets. Seeking a state of total purity and perfection, Anu cast all evil from itself. All dissonance was gone. But what of the cast-off aspects of its being? The dark parts, the sharp, searing aspects of hate and pridefulness. Those could not remain in a state of separation, for all things are drawn to all things. All parts are drawn to the whole. Those discordant parts assembled into the beast, the dragon. Tathamet was his name, and he breathed unending death and darkness from his 7 devouring heads. The dragon was solely composed of Anu's cast-off aspects. The end sum of the whole became a singular evil, the prime evil from which all vileness would eventually spread throughout existence. Though separate beings, Anu and the dragon were bound together within the pearl's shadowed womb. There they warred against each other in an unending clash of light and shadow for ages uncounted. The diamond warrior and the 7-headed dragon proved to be the equal of the other, neither ever gaining the upper hand in their fierce and unending combat, till at last, their energies nearly spent after countless millennia of battle, the two combatants delivered their final blows. The energies unleashed by their impossible fury ignited an explosion of light and matter so vast and terrible that it birthed the very universe all around us. All of the stars above and the darkness that binds them, all that we touch, all that we feel, all that we know, all that is unknown, all of it continues through the night and the day in the ebbing and flowing of the ocean tides, and in the destruction of fire and the creation of the seed. Everything of which we are aware, and that of which we are utterly unaware, was created with the deaths of Anu and the dragon Tathamet. In the epicenter of reality lies pandemonium, the scar of the universe's violent birth. At its chaotic center lay the heart of creation, a massive jewel unlike any other, the eye of Anu, the world stone. It is the foundation stone of all places and times, a nexus of realities and vast, untold possibility. Anu and Tathamet are no more, yet their distinct essences permeated the nascent universe and yet represents perhaps the greatest kept secret of creation, longed for but unimaginable. Just as heaven cooled in the spaces above, Tuthamet's blackened, smoldering husk spiraled into the lower darkness of reality. From his putrid flesh grew the realms of the burning hells. The dragon's 7 severed heads arose as the 7 evils, the 3 strongest of which would be known as the prime evils. They, along with their 4 lesser brethren, would rule over the ravening demonic hordes that spawned like maggots from the desiccated cavities of the burning hells. Thus was how all of what we know began. In time, the lords of hell and the angels of heaven met and clashed. The battle raged unceasing, and thus would come to be known as the eternal conflict. Let's dive deeper into the eternal conflict and what it is about. Originally, Deckard Cain found ancient scrolls in the Church of Sakharum, and these scrolls described a great war between angels and demons. This is where the character of Deckard Cain came to know about the eternal conflict. And the scrolls describe this conflict as follows. This war was most commonly fought within the realm of pandemonium. According to one of the earliest necromancers, the angels and demons battled over control of one essential object, the heart of creation, the world stone. The world stone is not, as the name implies, a mere stone. It is a colossal, mountain-sized object, which was believed by many and is supported by multiple petroglyphs and ancient sculptures to be the actual eye of Anu, the One. According to legend, the World Stone is an artifact of unimaginable power. A belief exists that control of the stone changed hands many times over the eons. History tells us that the World Stone allowed the side that possessed it to alter reality and create life and worlds almost without restriction. Angels used the stone to build worlds of perfect order, in line with their ideals of justice, hope, wisdom, fate, and valor, while demons used the stone to create unfathomable engines of annihilation and worlds of destruction, terror, and hatred. However, these worlds created by angels and demons never flourished. They were inherently flawed and doomed to wither and die. Now, Deckard Cain does not know whether such worlds were ever really created, or if any of them still exist. To his knowledge, no man has ever beheld such a word. Therefore, Deckard Cain suspects that this account is literary visited it once, and you, as the hero in Diablo, also visit it. And Deckard Cain tells us that this stronghold embodies the warped reality traits ascribed to pandemonium as a whole. He says he has never seen anything quite like it, and he doesn't really know if the fortress is simply otherworldly in nature, or it was built by an angel or a mad demon. But over the course of the eternal conflict, the fortress changed hands between angels and demons, and thus it has taken on structural and metaphysical traits from both the high heavens and the burning hells. And Deckard Cain goes on to explain that an angel known as Inarius seized the world stone and, through some impossible act of magic, veiled it from the sight of both heaven and hell. He accomplished this with the aid of the mysterious demoness Lilith and a cadre of other angels and demons who had grown disillusioned with the eternal conflict. Inarius succeeded in manipulating the power of the stone to create the world of Sanctuary, a hidden paradise where he and his followers could live free from the madness of unending strife. And this is the place we know as the mortal realm. This is our world. Unlike all the other worlds, it was created by both angels and demons. The day of Sanctuary's creation, the nature of the eternal conflict changed. Much confusion spread through the burning hells and the high heavens. The center of all things they had fought over for countless millennia had vanished. It was simply gone. At first,